Harvard has long had a jewel in Phillips Brooks House. We felt that when we were at Harvard with the class of 1972, we were deeply engaged at Phillips Brooks House. We pioneered new programs. We went off in any number of innovative directions. That's what Phillips Brooks House makes possible. We also had some famous meetings with the Harvard administration, standing up for continued funding for Phillips Brooks House. I remember those well. Harvard sent the future Secretary of Labor, John Dunlop, to negotiate with us. Emile Godfrey was leading our team in those meetings. It was, like, Phillips Brooks House meant everything to those of us who were most active there, and there were many of us. And just as the reunion approached, I think a number of us had memories of Emile Godfrey. He was the first marshal of our class. I remember him as the president of Phillips Brooks House, but that may be apocryphal after 50 years. He really represented someone who had so much that he gave. I knew him in Chicago. We did an adopt-a-school program at the request of the Harvard Club of Chicago. He was just a clear leader in our class, and we felt, what could we do to honor him? And the idea came, and I wrote Greg had mentioned it in that panel, and I said, Greg, what could we do? And of course, starting off, we didn't know how this would shape up, but thanks to the assistance, first of Rhea and her unstinting help as we got in touch. Then it was really Harvard, thanks to Rob Shapiro and others, their unstinting recognition that this was something that we should be allowed to do and we should be able to do, and it could count towards our class reunion 50th gift to Harvard. Harvard supported it, and then it was really just, it took on a life of its own, and it just was a matter of letting people know in the class that this was being done in Emile's memory, and people, we all have felt that Phillips Brooks House was really instrumental to our lives. I speak as somebody who, I'm a Vermonter. I showed up at Harvard, and within a month I was teaching at Walpole State Prison, a class in psychology, of which I really knew nothing. So I went to my professor and said, could you help me teach these prisoners at Walpole? And I just realized that you have to venture into new areas. You cannot be standing on the sidelines. You cannot, you have to get in the arena where the action is. Right as I left Harvard, I went to Chicago and ended up in the field of community organizing and advocacy. Ruth Finfer was the first organizer I knew. He used to disappear from Harvard and organize in Dorchester while we were at Harvard. And he and I, our whole careers have been as community organizers. But you look around our table, the mayor of Cambridge, we have the United States ambassador to Iceland. Am I correct on that? I don't want to say Ireland, I want to be clear, I said Iceland. So we all could tell you what it has meant to us professionally, personally, and really in terms of our view of politics and recognizing not all ideas that are great for our country have to come from above. They can come from the people in our neighborhoods in this country who have so much to contribute, who are left on the sidelines, and we can be involved. And I see Phillips Brooks House is doing that every day. It's giving dignity and hope to citizens, future citizens, people who must feel that democracy works for them in this country if we're going to preserve this great institution of democracy that we all feel so strongly about. So Phillips Brooks House is at the heart of that fight, and to me that's why I contributed and so many of our classmates contributed, and we're just, we don't feel that we should be honored. We did it because Phillips Brooks House had given so much to us.
Bob got me into trouble when he asked me to work this way, but you can't say no to a community organizer. I'm going to speak about Emile Godfrey because otherwise I'll go on and speak about all kinds of things. I incidentally had I still have 20 years of history of Brooks House that I took away that you need to put in the digital archives. You're in the garage. When Maria tried to come over and get it, my nephew, who's a Suffolk law student, I thought it was in the house. He put the big boxes in the garage. We couldn't find it, so he would go back and try it.
Could you speak in the microphone?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'll take the mic. Here, that's better?
Yeah.
Thanks. Anyway, Brooks House is a place of love. I fell in love with all of these people, and we didn't get to it yet, but time served us well. I met Ken in Brooks House and became my partner. We've been together for 50 years now. This picture is Ken. Columbia Point. Very spent time living together. And one of the people who really initiated Columbia Point, now Maria gets teary-eyed, they told us in our day, men aren't supposed to cry. You have to be careful. You do that. Emile Godfrey helped start this program. He helped start it with Russ Hoyer, who's over to the far side of that picture. Russ and Jay Kaplan were doctors' sons from New Orleans, and Emile was from New Orleans as well. They lived in Columbia Point, just the two of them, to do an initial program. Columbia Point was one of the largest housing projects in the country. They called it one of the worst, Puerto which was torn down in St. Louis. It was maligned overall. It was a beautiful community, as we recommended in our video that you can see on our class website. Richard Broadman made a film called Failure by Design, where it talks about how public housing was denigrated intentionally. That happened there. Anyway, Emile was a beautiful man. He was the vice president of Brooks House. Michael Robinson was the first black president of Brooks House. Michael married Susan Kennedy, who's in our class, and we're all now today, and we participate in these reunions. Emile was an extraordinary leader. He was one of my sweet mates. You know, imagine us, there were 5 or 6 of us lived together and changed floors. He was the person who was the bridge for Jay and the leaders to go up to the community. Not just because he was a person of color, but he was poor. He was a very poor man. He came from a poor family, and that was not recognized at the time. Everyone was the same at Harvard, and of course that wasn't true, but it can be confusing. We put together a group in the 90s called Working Class Students at Harvard, Support Group out of AIDS, I guess, out of Brooks House. I remember one of the people, Kevin Peterson, was quoted in one of the Harvard publications saying, you know, it wasn't hard to be black at Harvard. I had a support group. It wasn't hard to be gay at Harvard. I had a support group, but it was really hard to be working class because I didn't know it. Nobody knew it. It was very confusing. Well, Emile did that, and no one really knew it. He was a beautiful man, full of spirit. Everyone loved him. His wife and kids are going to come on Zoom pretty soon tonight. I was speaking with Pam last week, and I said they put that picture of Emile up, and I said, "My God, Pam, he was so handsome. It hurts to look at him." And she said, she said, "Yes, and he was my husband." But indeed, he was charismatic, and he was courageous because he wasn't treated. It was difficult. It was difficult to be a black person at Harvard. It was difficult to be a light-skinned black person at Harvard. Some of the dark-skinned black people at Harvard weren't very nice to him. And he always navigated those waters with dignity and beauty and charm. He was elected the vice president. He was elected the Class Marshal. But more than that, he touched everyone with grace, and not only with his physical grace and agility, he was a fencer, he was a great fencer, but with his human dignity and love. And Pam's not good. There was a time, these times were different, unfortunately. Emile had a girlfriend who was very close. He's a wage man. They all loved him. He had a special girlfriend. And they were such a wonderful couple. She was from Pine Manor, and they were separate men, of course. She would visit, and they got closer and closer, and she was from New Orleans too, and all of a sudden her parents found out, and she was a blonde white woman, and took her out of Pine Manor and made her move back to New Orleans. Now he was crushed, but those are the type of things folks had to face. There were racial barriers, class barriers, and he just rose above them, and it was a bridge between folks. He knew who he was. He got along with everyone, but I mean, he's quoted in the graduation as saying, as the Class Marshal, that any policies that are not good for Black people, like U.S. out of Southeast Asia or out of Gulf, I will not support. And he supported the strikes and the rest of it. He also was very close to Burt Rosenthal, who's from our class of '72, and whereas Parkinson's now can't be with us, but they were. I wish he were here today to see this because they were special people together. Harvard people, but not from pedigree. Bert's father, Al Rosenthal, was one of the oldest members of his class. In '95, I think he was the last one coming to the news. He told us about this ferry room we used to call it the Black Hole of Calcutta. That's where the commuter students had to eat their lunch before they had to get out of school. We bonded, talked about all these things, and continued to be together in life. And subsequently, he became a communications person and community person for major corporations around the country. He never had a lot of money. He struggled, but I remember Pam and myself talking to him. He was in Indiana. And I said, how are you doing in Indiana? He said, I'm living on fumes. Great. It was, no one knows. And now, when you meet his family, the most beautiful human beings you could conceive. His lovely wife would come on Zoom, and his two daughters. And now, today they're awaiting his grandchild to be named Sylvester. Ashley's pregnant with the baby now, and that's why she's not here. I don't know, I hope that gives you a little sense of who we're honoring. It's such a wonderful thing. Thank you all so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashley Godfrey and I'm Emile Godfrey's daughter. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to say a few things on my family's behalf. We were so honored when we received the news about the generosity shown towards Phillips Brooks House by the Harvard graduating class of 1972. My dad would be so absolutely thrilled and touched by the compassion you have all shown, not only because it's in his name, but also because of its impact on the community. I can imagine happy tears in his eyes and his infectious smile on his face hearing the news. His involvement in PBHA was a definite cornerstone of his life. Although I wasn't born yet during his college days, I have had the pleasure of speaking with some of the friends that knew him at this time and heard their stories about the impact it had on him as a human being, student, and community leader. Even after his time at Harvard, you could see the residual effects. His entire life up to the day he died was spent giving back and guiding others. No matter what city he lived in, he always made sure he took part in working for and with the community, especially young people. Whether it was one-on-one help with young people that came into his life and needed guidance, coaching a middle school basketball team, or larger scale programs like Big Brother, Big Sister, or teaching financial literacy classes to young people, he was always involved. I have no doubt that his desire to do this was ignited by his time spent in the programs offered by PBHA. And with this grant through the work of PBHA, I know we will see more strong leaders and organizers like my father in this world, and that's something we most certainly need. In fact, I'll be bringing an Emile Godfrey III into this world in a few short weeks, and one day I can't wait to share this moment with him, and maybe he'll be a future student and participant with the Phillips Brooks House. Thank you again. It means so much to my family and I know it would to my dad.